13-year-old boy lost his life in a shocking incident at the Zences Water Park in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, which occurred during a family holiday, as they celebrated Leonardo's recovery from COVID-19. Several investigations have been conducted into the Leonardo Luna Guerrero case, which has exposed safety protocol violations, startling malpractice, and incompetence. The park staff acknowledged that human error was responsible for the failure that led to the accident, a case that has left many questions unanswered and has sparked intense debate. But what exactly happened that day? How did this tragedy occur? We will try to find all the answers to these questions. Let's get started. Leonardo Luna Guerrero was born on March 27, 2008. 13-year-old Leonardo Luna Guerrero went to the popular water park in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, on Saturday, March 27, 2021, with his parents and 3 siblings. The park is located in the vacation park owned by the Xcaret Group, which was named one of Mexico's top businesses in the Zences Water Park from 2010 to 2015. There are 17 major attractions. Xcaret claims that the Rio La Jante is a location where individuals can float through a salt river that keeps them aloft. The warm underground waters of the 3 tracks in the water feature float visitors until they reach the end of them. The waters of the Rio La Jante are only 60 centimeters deep, making it one of the water park's safest attractions. It's an enjoyable experience. The Xcaret Group that owned the water park was not new to controversy before the incident. This began with the park's establishment, which was accomplished by dynamiting the surrounding terrain to produce an artificial setting. It was said that for visitors, the entire natural world was altered. The cavern's vaults were destroyed by dynamite, and man-made channels were constructed to create the underground river. Both locals and tourists were understandably offended by this, as they were led to believe that the park was naturally occurring. According to an environmentalist, people currently mistakenly think they are arriving at a natural spot, yet everything in the modern world is man-made. They have received complaints and sanctions for breaking their environmental rules, but that is as far as it went. The formerly lovely cove, loved by the local Mexican population, is now off-limits to the majority of the local population and a popular tourist destination for the wealthy. Human error has resulted in numerous fatalities and injuries since the resort's debut. That's what happened in August of 2016, when the zipline tower caught fire while the maintenance staff was still inside. Fortunately, they were all able to escape with very minor wounds. The cigarette was the primary reason behind this. The escalated transit bus flipped over in January 2017, injuring 54 people and killing 2. It was careless driving that led to this. One of the more disputed tragedies happened in September 2017 when a worker fell to death from a falling slab from the resort's hotel. Initially, the corporation was misled and said it fell because of an electrical issue, but further investigation revealed that the welding was weak. Nobody was brought to justice. Unbelievably, a few months prior to Leonardo's passing, a man who had been drawn into a vortex by a comparable attraction called the Lodorama found himself in a similar situation. It's the same kind of thing, but it's a mud bath. The man's partner claimed that they went to Playa del Carmen in January of this year, stayed at the Xcaret Hotel with their partner, and visited Zences. They were at an attraction called Lodorama. He was driving in the left lane while I was in the right. We were at the Lodorama attraction when we grabbed a GoPro. Using a GoPro, we captured every moment. His companion called out to him almost at the end of the course, saying he was being pulled in by a current. He didn't give it much thought. He initially believed it to be a joke, but his look made him realize it wasn't. Fortunately, the woman was able to pull her boyfriend out and save him. Leonardo and his family, including his father Miguel, boarded the ride together at about 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Leonardo was abruptly and forcibly drawn into the water when the two were speaking while floating around the course. The family initially thought he was making a mockery of them, but he didn't return their calls. Miguel had no idea that his son's leg was broken after getting swept into one of the pool's filtration systems. The filtration system in a swimming pool is a device that purifies and moves the water around, clearing the pool of particles and pollutants. The filtration system's pressure was so powerful that Miguel could not even try to free his son from the filter by jumping over to do so. Leonardo was in pain. By now, several park visitors had noticed the disturbance and had rushed to assist Miguel in order to free his son. Leonardo became unconscious when a group of them succeeded in pulling him out of the water. Being a medical professional, Miguel was demanding that employees get him a respirator, but they were unprepared for the circumstances. He claimed that my son's leg had become tangled in the river's filter. He took it out at the same time, took off the screen, and took his son out. Leonardo's father requested a respirator from the park officials when they came to assist him. Leonardo's father practices medicine as a cardiologist. He continued by saying that he performed mouth-to-mouth breathing until the ambulance arrived. A few minutes later, the ambulance showed up devoid of oxygen, and the staff had no idea what first aid was. After Leonardo was taken to the hospital in Playa del Carmen, his father was not happy with the care Leonardo had received. Miguel stated that they arrived at the hospital after that. They neglected to insert the catheter that my son required. They wouldn't let him, even though he volunteered to put it in as a cardiologist, because that's his expertise. He began to have disagreements with the hospital's medical staff when they requested to have his son transported to Mexico City via air ambulance. He was not allowed to dial the air ambulance by them. It seemed to him that they were against my son leaving Quintana's room. Leonardo suffered leg injuries, submersion, and drowning, leading to his admission to the private facility. Despite the fact that medical professionals were able to stabilize him at first, he drowned and suffered lung bleeding the next day. Following the beginning of an investigation into the event, officials declared that the attraction would remain closed until the investigation was over, even though they admitted that the grid was not connected to the filtration system. In a statement, the Xcaret Group emphasized how crucial it is to emphasize that the area was guarded from the moment of the disaster and that particular steps, including having a lifeguard on duty all the time, had been taken. The goal of carrying out the ongoing investigations is to determine the final outcomes. When investigators questioned employees, they were promptly told that the attraction had recently undergone repair and that a grid was supposed to have been installed over the filtering system. According to reports, the chief of civil protection told the media that the staff at the park told me that one of them had been careless and had left one of the gates open. The park owner was then discovered by civil protection to have 150,000 pesos, or $7,500. Though clearly outrageous, this was the furthest civil protection could go. It was shocking to learn that Miguel had been forced into signing a document that released the park from liability. He said that while he was waiting in the hospital, Leonardo's body was kept there and would not be released unless he signed it. According to him, he was asked to sign an apology in support of Zences Park earlier, which was greatly influenced by the legal counsel for the Xcaret Group, recognizing her wife's emotional well-being and not wanting her to endure more pain. He put his signature on the paperwork. He is under a lot of pressure from them. Additionally, he was not permitted to speak, and he subsequently claimed on social media that my son's death was the result of carelessness in the park. Even if they sign this legal waiver, it will still happen if we don't make it public. Following the public release of this material, a wrongful death claim was filed.